Welcome back to Project Unwind. It used to be called Project Calm. My name is James. I'm your host. Today we got a super cool guest on the show. Edgar, how's your week going so far?
It's going good, man. It's perfect. Right now I'm on paternity leave. I've got my kiddo just turned a month old, so I'm hanging out with my family, enjoying my time with them as much as possible, and just hanging out, man. Just hanging out. I'm taking it slow, you know.
Is this your first child?
So second kiddo, second kiddo.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's crazy. So uh I've got my little girl, she's 2, and
Mhm.
then my month-old baby boy, first boy of the family. So everyone's excited. Uh, Everyone's been stopping by at the house just to meet baby, and yeah, it's a big deal because as a Mexican American, that boy is like, everyone. I feel like everyone's losing their minds because it's the first boy. So yeah, everyone's really excited and just kind of like finding a spot to come in just to
Yeah.
meet baby. So, but yeah, yeah. Other than
No.
that, we're just kind of hanging out.
Hey, I love it. Do you have a third one in mind or a fourth
That's a
or
good question. That's a good question. I feel, the other day I was just telling my wife, uh, I had asked her, I said, "Hey, you want to have another one?" She said, "Yeah, I do," and it surprised me because I thought that 2 was the stopping point, but I was telling her, I was like, watch, if we try for a third one, it's gonna be twins. Just wait. Just wait. I feel like the third baby, we're gonna have twins and we're gonna have 4 kiddos. She's like, are you, what if that happens? She's, no, that'd be great. Okay, okay, fine. All right. So she wants a third one. So it's like, all right, I'm not gonna sit there and, argue. Well, okay, that's fine.
happy wife, happy life? But I've
Yeah.
always wanted twins, but then I don't have any twins in my genetics. Like none of my parents, aunts, or uncles are twins. So I've been on a search for a partner who's a twin.
Oh, really? That's
Well,
crazy.
it's not like, I mean, that's not the only thing I'm looking for, but I
Oh,
just,
yeah.
if I do hear that she's a twin, I go like, oh, bonus points.
Yeah, yeah. So that's crazy you say that because my wife's mom, she's a twin, and then in my family, I've got a set of 2 twins, my both of my cousins. So it's like just wait. I feel like it's gonna happen. I don't know. It's just one of those things that's like, what if we have twins? I think that'd be so cool.
I love it. Well, Edgar, for the audience, can you give a bit of a background on like who you are, what you do? We know you're a father,
Sure,
but just kind of like a little bit more about yourself.
sure. So uh, I am 32. I live in Jefferson City, Missouri. I'm actually in law enforcement, believe it or not. I've been there for 6 years. Um, I've done and seen so many crazy stuff, man. But outside of that, like when I come home, I'm just me. I'm Edgar, right? I'm a husband to my wife. I'm a father to my kiddos, a son to my, um, I like to play video games, like to chill, just to hang out, uh, take my family out so they enjoy the day. They can get out of the house and relax. Um, I keep my circle kind of small,
Mhm.
friends. I feel like that's important. I always think of like, who's going to pick up the phone at 3 in the morning if I need something.
Mhm.
So I just keep it small. It's easier. It's more manageable. Um, Other than that, it's nothing super crazy. You know,
Mhm.
um, I'm not going out and doing a bunch of stuff. I just try to focus on my career, my family. Um, but it, not also, focusing on them, but also like advancing.
Of
Just keep
course.
moving up, just the same way my parents did. Um, I'm first generation uh, Mexican American. My family was born. My parents were born in Mexico, and I was actually born in Iowa. I don't know why. I always ask my parents, I'm like, why did you choose Iowa out of all places? Like, why'd you come from Mexico all the way to Iowa?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, well, my your uncles were working in Iowa, and so that's where we kind of just landed.
Yeah.
Um, and when I turned 21, I petitioned for my parents to become citizens, and they got it. I mean, it took years. It took so many years, but just last month, my mom became a citizen. So which is awesome. She studied so much. Um, the test is pretty tough. There were questions that's like, I'm like, man, I don't know if I know the answer to this one. I don't know if I can answer it. But no, super proud of her. She passed it. And matter of fact, right now they're actually in Mexico. They're just kind of hanging out. But I'm super family oriented. Love my family to death. I'd do anything for them. Um, I feel like that's one thing that my parents really instilled into me that I'm grateful to have as an adult. Um, but yeah, sorry, I was just kind of a ramble, but uh, just a little bit about me. I do know Spanish and English.
Yeah.
I do a lot of translations for my coworkers, other agencies and stuff. Um, so if my phone goes off, it's one of those that all right, I have to ignore
Yeah.
for now. Anyways, I'll call them back. But
Okay.
um, but yeah, that's nothing super crazy. I'm just pretty easy going. You know, hopefully easy to talk to. You know what you say to me as a friend. It should stay just between us. It's just
Yeah.
that we got to have that mutual trust.
Hmm.
You know.
That's hard to come by nowadays, especially with the whole world is in it's the tip of your fingers and in your pocket. So
Yep.
I respect that you value just having that intimate connections. It's really hard to find that nowadays. And super cool because I'm actually Korean American. I came here when I was two. Uh,
What?
yeah, and I always make a joke. I actually sat in the front of the plane, so like in my family, I was technically the first one to be in America because my parents were in the
Okay.
back. Yeah, so yeah.
That's cool, dude. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. But I know the citizenship process, I don't know how it is now, but when I was younger, it was definitely a very difficult process. I remember, I think it took my um, dad like over 10 years, but he got it.
Really?
And since I was under 18, I was able to pick it up as well. Um, but what got you into law enforcement?
Good question, man. So, uh, my parents did the not like my parents pushed it. They actually hated the idea.
Yeah.
It was the fact that like coming to this country, they came here legally, right? What a lot of people, and I'm not justifying it. I'm explaining just why, right?
Mhm.
Uh, my parents came here with the visa, um, and to renew your visa, it's very very tough, and you have a pretty high chance of going back if you renew it. Um, and they didn't want to take that chance, so they stayed and let the visa expire. And so when it expired, my parents were always afraid of getting pulled over by the police, or any just encounter with law enforcement was just always negative. Um, and I wanted to take that fear away from them because growing up, I came to fear law enforcement. I'm like,
Mhm.
man, that's not that shouldn't be the thought. That shouldn't be the first thing you go to. Um, and when I turned 21, I applied to the jail to work as a corrections officer. I got the position, worked there for 4 years, um, and then enrolled into the academy. But um, yeah, I would always tell my mom like, "Hey, I'm gonna get into law enforcement. That way, I can take that fear away from you." And yeah, they were really against it. They were like, "No, you're gonna get killed," and all just the fear of all the craziness with what's going on in the world.
Hmm.
Um, and now I noticed that like my parents are really, really proud of that. I always noticed they bragged to their friends about it and stuff. And um, even though they were against it at the beginning, it's cool to kind of see that. But no, my parents seeing what my parents went through,
Hmm.
taking care of us, making all those sacrifices, it pushed me to do that. So they don't have that fear, of getting pulled over or, you know, getting that chance to get deported back to Mexico. All those things because they spent so many years with that fear of even, getting behind the wheel uh to drive, to take us to school. I remember my mom would always start praying before she would start the car to take us to school. And as a kid you don't think anything of it. As I got older, I'm like, no, she was genuinely afraid to get pulled over by law enforcement, by
Hmm.
in fear of going to jail, getting a ticket, getting deported, all those things. um so yeah, my parents were a huge factor into getting into law enforcement.
That's a beautiful story, and I love to hear that they came around and now they're super supportive.
Yeah,
And
appreciate that.
yeah, that's so cool. Um, where does law enforcement kind of have anything to do with like the origins of like your mental health journey, or is that where does your mental health journey start?
That's a good question, man.
Hmm.
uh that's a great question. So a couple years ago I got hit head on in, um, in a crash while I was on duty. It was 5:30 in the morning. Uh, I was driving my patrol car, uh, and someone just went right into my lane. Um, I was trapped in there for 2 hours. I broke my femur in three places and shattered my knee. So I've never been able to fully bounce back from that. Um, Driving was a big issue. It's not as much anymore, but like physically and mentally, I'm not back at 100%. I'm older, so it's not as easy to just get up and start, walking or getting behind the wheel. But I feel like that's where it all started. Um, Being able to kind of just turn off that switch to just, all right, I'm just Edgar. I'm just me. Time to just keep on moving. I feel like that's where it all started. You know, well, not to mention all the other crazy stuff that comes with the job too.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people don't realize mental health is huge, and it's often ignored in law enforcement. It's pushed off to the side, in
Hmm.
fear of, oh, my license is going to get taken away, or um, I'll suffer some sort of consequences if I speak my mind.
Hmm.
Uh, and if more people were were more willing to just open up and do certain things, it'd be easier. You would have less videos on YouTube of cops blowing up and all this crazy stuff happening. That's what I feel. So, um, but yeah, man, I could rattle off a bunch of crazy horror stories, but what I always tell people, I don't want to traumatize you.
Yeah. Well, I truly appreciate what you do. It's like Because this is like one of the hardest jobs, and every day is just you have a chance of losing your life. You're like going out there
Yeah,
in uniform, and you have a chance of losing your life. And people don't understand how scary and difficult it is. And you're seeing literally the worst of the worst of what happens within the States. It's like what veterans see on the outside, but this is happening in our home country, and
yeah,
it's it's like I just can't imagine on how difficult that can be.
yeah, yeah.
So so what happened after like after the crash? So like what did kind of like recovery look like and what was going through your head during this time?
That's a good question, man. I don't know if
Mhm.
anybody's ever asked that. I did 6 months of recovery. Um, my wife was she's a teacher, so my wife was working um, and coming home to also take care of me. And man, she's a trooper. I don't know how she did it. Uh, but we also had a huge support with from the community itself. You know, they were helping us out a ton. Um, so it felt really, really nice knowing that I wasn't alone. You know, we weren't alone. Um, I did physical therapy for quite a bit. I want to say it's from the beginning. I'd say about 5 months of therapy uh, every single day. Well, besides the weekends and stuff. Um, and that was tough. I remember going into physical therapy and seeing a bunch of old people. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be a joke. All right, whatever. I'll just do my exercises and then just go home, And the first day I was drenched in sweat. I was like, what is this, man? These old ladies put me to work, man. Um, I couldn't bend my leg. So like my leg was at like a 90-degree angle. Like I couldn't push it farther back than that. It was weird. Like my leg was in a just a brace, right? And you could lock it at a certain degree, but it wouldn't bend. It would not bend at 90 degrees. So in physical therapy, I'd do my exercises and then afterwards I would stretch. And one of the things that they did was just push my leg farther than that 90 degrees, man. And oh man, it felt so weird. I was like, oh, you're gonna break it, you're gonna break it. But no, they were awesome about it. I got like I'd say probably like a good 90% of my mobility. Like I can't like my
Mhm.
right leg, I can, you know, bend it farther. Like I can bend my knee closer to my thigh, but like my left leg, yeah, no, not a thing. Um, and uh, what else? What else? Um, how did the next portion of that question you asked? Like, how
What
did you
was going
feel?
through your head at this time? Like because there's like when it after something crazy like that, it's not just the physical side that takes a toll.
That's
It's like
true.
it's the mind and yeah, so what was going inside your head?
That's a good question, man. My worry was like bills, whether or not I was going to be the same, or go to have a job or, be able to run, just literally pick up where I left off. That was my fear. Um, whether I was going to get behind into my patrol car and start just driving normally, right? Or if I was going to have any fears. Um, and I did. I did. I had a rough time. I had a rough time with that. I really didn't think I was. I thought I was just gonna just get up and then just pick everything up and then just keep on trucking. But yeah, I didn't. I didn't think that was gonna. I really didn't think that was gonna happen. I thought it was. more resilient. But looking at the extent of the crash, um, and because I've got pictures of the crash and then of my leg, like how it looked before and then after the surgery.
Mm.
Uh, and like at that time, I didn't realize, oh, it was pretty rough. Like I'm not just gonna fully bounce back and then just pick up where I left off. Like it was gonna take some time to adjust to everything. But yeah, there was a lot of things in my mind, you know. Uh, the one of the things, one of the many things was my wife,
Mm.
whether whether how she was doing, whether I was enough or supportive or helpful. Uh, I didn't want to lay the whole burden on her, just to be able to take care of me. I wanted to be able to do things on my own. Um, but yeah, no, she stuck with me for through the whole thing, man. My my wife and I've been together since high school, since we were like
What?
15, 16. Yeah, man. And um and that girl's, my ride or die. She's my rock. So yeah, she without her, man, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably be in a wheelchair if it wasn't for her, man. She helped me out a ton. Um, but yeah, I feel like there's more,
Mm.
more things that were going on in my mind, but like off the top of my head, I can't
Yeah.
think of anything else. Because it's just weird. No one's asked that question before, so it just like kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And you have to look back into like your all the file cabinets and your memories and kind of because when you're going through the midst of it, people will never really take it's hard to take a moment to digest what's happening. You're literally
Yeah,
going through the motions day by day. And then like when you're over it, you're like, okay, I'm finally past this, right? So when someone picks your brain to go back into that daze, it's like, oh, it's not this. It's just a bunch of folders that hasn't been organized yet. So
yeah.
it can definitely be a bit difficult. Um, since that accident, how did, tell us what happened from that accident to you one day seeing us on social media and go like, hey, I want to give this a try.
That's a good question. Um, I had been looking up just natural remedies
Yeah.
on anxiety and just PTSD and stuff because uh, I'm not one to like take medication. That's the stuff for just drugs and stuff. That's the stuff that I was seizing out on the streets, and
Mhm.
so just steered away from it. Um, it was on it was on Facebook when I'd seen an ad, and I'm like, well, out of just curiosity and just like, what do I got to lose? Might as well give it a shot. I'm not if it doesn't work, okay, all right, we try something else, um, and like in our messages, like I was
Yeah.
skeptical at first about it, like man, this isn't gonna work, but you know it you got to get out of that kind of mindset of like telling yourself it's not going to work. Because if you tell yourself that, you just you're not. You got to build yourself up a little bit. Just to all right, you got to have some sort of confidence in it. And looking at the videos too, because before I had bought it, I was looking at the videos on the your guides, your how-to guides,
Yeah.
uh, and seeing how confident you were with that gave me enough confidence to be like, all right, no, let's give this a shot. We got to do it. And literally within the first when I just got in the package, I remember my heart beating like, okay, all right, we're gonna give this a shot. And the first day, man, you could feel it immediately. It was like, oh my gosh, I can breathe. I feel like I can be me. I'm normal. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go do some the things that I was refraining from doing, or putting off because I don't want to get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of went on a tangent, but just
Yeah.
I get excited over these things, so it just, you know, it it it's something really cool.
Yeah. I when you say the word skepticism, you have no idea. Like if I had to describe what everyone thinks about a company, that would be the word. It's just
Really?
because we're so small, and I mean, if it was like Nike, Nike doesn't need to prove that they're a shoe company, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone knows Nike, but then they're like, who the heck is this random Asian dude that keeps showing up on my Facebook feed? And and then when I go to his website, all I see are all these reviews and stuff like this. There's too many good reviews. Like it goes against
Yeah.
us.
Right. Right. No, I agree with that. Sure, because that's the
And
one
I'm
thing that
like,
I'm seeing too.
yeah, and then so I'm like, like these written reviews, like it's actually working against it. So I'm just gonna go and start doing video reviews because like how can I know AI is good, but it's not. I can't just have a conversation with like an AI like
Yeah.
this. And so
Yeah.
like so hopefully AI doesn't get too good where people start questioning our video reviews. But
Yeah.
but yeah, just definitely skepticism is a word I hear a lot. You mentioned something about like there were things you were holding back before that you stopped holding back on. What are some of those things you mentioned?
Good question. So driving, going
Mhm.
out and taking my family to places, because I mean, just the driving aspect of it w was tough. So I was refraining from, going out and taking my family to, out and about to the mall, take them shopping, going out to eat, um, going to the park, simple things like that, just so my family would enjoy. Where it was like I felt like I was just stuck at home, you know,
Mhm.
where it was becoming an issue because eh, if you're stuck at home, you feel like you're trapped. You've got to go out, get some sunlight, go do things that you enjoy, not just alone, but like with your family. And um, yeah, I was putting that all off in fear of, okay, well, what if I get a panic attack while driving? It's not just me in the car, it's my family in the back. Or what if this happens? It's just a bunch of what ifs that got built up in my mind over a long period of time that my family also ended up paying for that. Does that make sense? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there just during this time, was your wife covering for like the driving parts or what, how did you get through this time until before calm? Were you just like forcing yourself at home, finding excuses and not wanting to go out? Because yeah, what did you do to get through like such like negative thoughts that kept you trapped during this period?
That's a good question, man. Uh, I love my wife to death, but like when she drives, dude, it's horrible, man. I always tell her like, "Hey, Nikki, girl, I want to live, so let me drive."
Yeah.
But like, um, there'd be on a couple instances where she would drive, but it wasn't too often. Like it was one of those, all right, no, I got to get out of my comfort zone and just just go out and do it and drive. Um, uh, but it wasn't as often as I would have liked to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if anything, we would spend more time at home
Hmm.
inside than we would out and about. Like even just the simple things, like even going out, you know, grocery shopping or anything like that. My wife would go and do. It was like the longer trips
Hmm.
uh where I'd feel almost uncomfortable her driving. I don't know. I don't know if it's just like a guy thing to just like, you know, the guy has to go out and drive and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I know. I think I definitely hear you. But I think it's like it's chivalry. It's like chivalry,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the kind of with also like I mean it's I personally feel like it's like the man's duty to kind of like you have to provide for and you gotta
Yes.
protect the family and things like that. And I know
Absolutely.
like some nowadays culture's a little changing. Not everyone thinks that way, but I personally go that way. It might just be because my parents are very traditional, so I still do
Yeah.
have some of those traditional aspects. And driving is one of those things that's it's kind of like it's usually like a dad's job. Like whenever I
Yep.
went on a family trip, it was always my dad driving.
Yep. Same here. Same here.
So
I was
totally,
gonna say I got a question for you
yeah.
because I like when you said traditional values that this the same thing
Mhm.
in a Mexican culture. What what kind of values did your parents instill to you that you find helpful or grateful as an adult?
So one of the things about mine is that I my family needed a lot of work when I was younger. I'll put it kind of that way, and that's where a lot of my mental health values, not values, but my mental health, that's where my mental health journey started. And then that's where things kind of got spiraled out of control for a majority of my life. But it originated from there. But I would say since now that I'm kind of out of it, and also like my it was a lot of butting heads with my dad just due to alcohol. I'll
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Hmm.
And then, but he's changed too now. And then he, I think, and he, we've had conversations about this as adults, and he understands that problem created a lot of problems when we were younger. But so we're kind of, it's we've did disclosure on this already. But I would say like the things that he really tries to instill in me is I feel like he's trying to make up for lost family because in Korean
Yeah.
culture family is really big also. It's like you my parents live with their grandparents, and then usually the grandparents move in when they get a little bit older, and it's
Uh-huh.
always like a big family thing, and
Yep.
like um, your- Christmas is crazy. All the cousins get together, and then like all the younger cousins are always fooling around, and then the adults are having fun, and it's very similar to the Mexican culture in that aspect.
Yes.
But
Yep.
I think like since we didn't have too much of that growing up, they're trying to make up for lost time.
Yeah.
Um, so we're, but it's I think the problem in this is it's kind of on my side. So like it's like when you have like when you live like 10, 15 years just like those 15 years of negative memories like don't just magically go away. So I feel
Like
like I still have
like
but
resentment?
it's not resentment, but then it's like I just don't have like I can't just go like, oh my goodness, I love you
Yeah.
so much and stuff like that. Is I
Right.
just still some things that I need to work on, and I try to work on it with like my actions. Like I go like, despite my heart not being there, I'm still going to do my best to do the actions of what a family-oriented person would do.
Right.
And then I'm hoping that my heart will follow afterwards. It's
That's
oh,
a really good way to put it.
yeah, a better like one way that when I was in um I had like these really dark periods, and recently I had another dark period just because this this last year, 2025, a lot of things happened in my business, my personal life, and my health that just came and that all hit me at once, and I went through this very dark period. And I've been through dark periods in my past, so like I kind of knew what I needed to do to get out of this. Like I'm still going to continue to exercise. I'm still going to
Good for you.
continue to get sun and stuff like that. But I needed something more, and then I wanted to go. And I grew up a Christian, but I never
Lamented it.
yeah, I was like, if someone asked me, I would go like, I'm Christian, but I never like kind of, I wasn't like super into Christianity, things like that. But I
Hmm.
wanted to grow in my faith last year, and but then
Uh-huh.
I still
Nice.
like my whole life I was like never like a super Christian. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go and do what a Christian does, and I'm hoping my heart will follow. So I started
Yes.
going to church, and then
Good for you, dude.
I started going, and I'm like, and on like the first few weeks, I started going to church. Like, we're looking for volunteers. I'm like, I'm just gonna go volunteer, even though I'm not like the
Good.
greatest Christian. And then the thing is, what I've noticed is that over time, my heart will follow my actions, and this is usually what I do for all things like mental health related and physical health related. Like when you go to the gym, the first week, the first 2 weeks, the first 3 weeks, you're not gonna see any changes. But then ultimately, the results will catch up to your actions,
Yep.
and that's
Yep. Very well,
and
dude.
to tie it all back around, that's kind of like where I am with my family side, is where I'm trying to just do the actions of a family-oriented person, and I'm hoping that my heart will ultimately follow. I did like a huge
Yeah.
tangent, but I'm glad that I closed that loop.
W- Were you forced to grow up early too?
Yeah, I was. There were times. I mean, this is completely against the law, but like I was homeless before. There were months and weeks that I would sleep on the street, and this was before.
Uh,
This started from my early high school days to my to like it's in my middle school days. It would happen like maybe like for like a night, maybe like a weekend. Like, I'll get kicked out, and I'm like, okay, I'll just go sleep at like the local spa. The spas are 24/7. You pay $25, you can stay overnight. And then I'm like, okay, I need money. So in middle school, I started hustling, which is,
mhm.
you know, Takis, like the bag of chips. It's Takis.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's a Mexican. Yeah, dude. I love those chips.
it's a Mexican chip, but like back then, now they have it in every grocery stores. But back
Yeah.
then, they didn't have it. They only had it in ice cream trucks. I grew up in LA.
Oh,
So
what,
I'll
dude?
go to
That's
the ice cream
crazy.
trucks, and then I'll go like, hey, I see you got a bag of Takis. I'll buy the whole bag. Let me get an extra 75 cents off each bag, and then I'll go and I'll flip those in my middle
Yeah,
school.
boy. Good, nice, dude.
So it's so that in that aspect, like I always had to like make my own money, and then, like if I got kicked out, now I had like maybe like $60 saved up. I can go and buy myself like a night at the spa and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So in that aspect, I would say I definitely did had to grow up very quickly, but it I think I matured emotionally very late because I um I probably grew up with like now that I think back, I kind of grew up with like not the best crowd, but
Same here,
it's
dude.
it's it's always like it's like all the guys wanted to be like, oh, the toughest macho-ish like
Yeah.
chihuahuas, essentially just all
Yeah,
bark.
yeah, dude.
And
Yeah,
then like
dude. Yeah.
so like I had a lot of anger, which also made my uh made my mental health worse. But yeah, it's like learning how to survive is something that I had to do like super early, which forced me to grow up in that aspect of just survival. But emotional maturity came like uh, uh, towards like my end of college, like beginning of um, like right after my graduation, because when I truly like double, triple down on my mental health. And I feel like I grew a lot in my mental health journey during those times.
I said, but you realize it though, like
Yeah.
the way that you worded it was really nice when you said like emotionally I was just a little bit late. Yeah, I was forced up to grow up early, but emotionally it hit a little bit late. And that's the same thing for me too. It's like,
Mhm.
you know, I feel like a lot of I mean, more than anybody else, like the culture we grow up in is there's good values in it, don't get me wrong, but
Mhm.
it's looking at it now as an adult, it's like that's not okay. I don't know if I agree with that. Uh it just because I noticed even now, like in my marriage, my wife and I will butt heads
Yeah.
because she's white, right? So and me coming from like it's not just the Mexican culture; it's a very old school Mexican culture where
Yeah.
it's like
There's discipline with belts and sandals and
yes, yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
yeah, we're like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like when my kiddo does something wrong, it's like, ah man, I'm gonna grab this belt or just something and just whap, And my wife would be like, no, no, don't hit him. I'm like, wait, why? What do you mean? That's how I was raised. Like
Yeah.
it in order for her to not do this again, that's what I need to do. But it just times are different. Like, don't get me wrong. Well, I'm not gonna let my kiddo just run around and do a bunch of crazy stuff, but
Yeah.
because there has to be a boundary. But um, no, it's always cool getting to when I meet people who are different cultures, I'm just always curious to see whether or not we grew up the same or we have some of the same values,
Yeah.
eh, you know, or just see if there's something similar, and I can already tell
Mhm.
that it is.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. That's really cool to get to just kind of connect with people in
Yeah.
some sort of way. Um, yeah, yeah.
I
Anyways, sorry, I was on a tangent, but
No, I was gonna say like that's actually one thing I always worried about. I didn't worry about, but like when I was younger, like I always wondered like if I was ever going to discipline my kids the way I was disciplined, and I actually came to a conclusion. I decided I'm not, and the reason why is there are multiple ways to achieve the same goal. To achieve a result,
right,
it's not always one straight path there. There's a
I
million
agree.
ways you can go about it.
Yeah,
And um, I mean, I wouldn't change a thing about my life. All the downs and all the ups, it got me to
I
where I
like
am.
that. Yep.
And I wouldn't change. And now when I still go through hardships, I always remind myself there's a bigger reason why this is happening. Like
Yeah,
there's all
you're right.
part of a bigger journey. And yeah, but it doesn't mean that like I would put my kids through the exact same thing I did.
I agree.
Yeah, I think, but I would try to, with the knowledge I have at the time, like that future James has at that time, I would do my best to just guide them to whatever their best potential best result will be. But it doesn't have to be like through the exact same path that I went through. Like because
Yeah,
I would assume that the only thing a parent wants is just the best for their kids. Like
right.
that's the end result. So like when they discipline with the belt, it's not because I want to hit them, but it's because they're doing it because they believe that's the best action for them to learn. It,
Yes.
right? So like if that's the goal, then it's if the goal is to have the best for your kids, there just has to be like other routes that's probably better than what I went through,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah. You're right. Absolutely, absolutely right. Because as a kid,
Yeah.
I will say I deserved a lot of it, man. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like I was an angel because I wasn't,
Me
dude.
too.
I was horrible, man. I was a horrible kid. Um, and yeah, anything like I'm already like just. just thinking about it like freaks me out. But like, like mom would look for just something, like something. The first thing that she saw, it was like, and then just like
Yeah.
I swear, I call her Scorpion from Mortal Kombat because when Scorpion goes, come over here, like, dude, that's what
Yeah.
she was, dude. She grabbed me by the ear and it's like, but yeah, man, like, dude, she was ruthless, man. I got sent to Mexico for a year to live because, dude, I was a horrible kid. Because in the United States, you there were a lot of things on the news about like, oh, kiddos are calling, law enforcement on parents, and then parents are going to jail for, for them
Yeah.
hitting their kids and stuff. And so that actually happened to one of my uncles. He actually ended up going to jail because he ended up leaving
Mhm.
marks and stuff from the belt.
Mhm.
And so mom and dad were deathly afraid of that. They were like, "All right, we'll send you to Mexico because like that is not like you can't do that in Mexico. You can't just call the police and be like, hey, like this is what happened. Like if you
Yeah.
do that in Mexico, the cops will show up and like whoop you for calling and
Yeah.
wasting their time. Like that's not a thing." And
Yeah.
so I remember like the first day I got there, man. I I remember my family was watching like a really big soccer game, and no one. I was expecting kind of like a, oh hey, Edgar's here, oh my gosh, hugs and embrace. Nothing. It was dry. I was like, what is this, dude? And and one of my cousins comes along. He's like, hey man, let's go out to the store and we'll get something to eat. Okay, cool. And so we're walking and we get our snacks. We start heading back, and there were these local kids that just start talking, And so me being one of those like just chihuahuas essentially, I
Yeah.
was talking back, I was talking back. And dude, they beat me up, man. They beat me up. And I go home. I go to my grandma's house and covered in just, dirt and blood and all, scratches and whatnot. And uh my grandma, I told my grandma what happened. And I think, oh, okay, she was gonna handle it, right? And she grabs the chancla and starts whooping me, dude, because I didn't defend myself, bro. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What country am I in? What is this? I want to go home, dude. And I remember going in there. It was getting close to bedtime, and uh, grandma was like, all right, go shower. I was like, okay. She said the water's ready, so I'm like, okay. Okay, so I go in the shower, start turning the knobs, like it didn't work. I'm like, what the? So I like look to my right, like look in the corner, there's like a bucket with like a bowl. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And I touched the water and it was cold, man. I was like, oh, dude, what is this? And I shower, um, and then the phone rings. And grandma answers the phone. She's like, hey, it's your mom calling. She wants to see how you're doing. And I answer the phone, and mom's like, hey, how do you like it over there? And I was like, I hate it. I want to go back. Send me back, man. I hate it here. And and my aunt heard the conversation, and she's like, Edgar, she's like, when you go to leave, you're gonna hate it. You're not gonna want to go back. And I was like, nope, I want to go back. Send me back. I don't like this place. And sure enough, like, because I like went to school there too.
Mhm.
Um, and sure enough, like once that time came to come back, I didn't want to go back. I was crying on the plane. It was just a much simpler life
Yeah.
in Mexico. And I only got to think about it like as an adult. I only got a small taste of like what my parents feel, of wanting to go back and see their family. But like it, as an adult too, I always think about like, just like you had mentioned, your parents just want the best for you, right? They want
Yeah.
you to be a decent human being. And that was honestly the best thing they could have done for me is do just that. And so I always
Yeah.
joke with my wife now, I'm like, if if Stella acts up, dude, I'm sending her to Mexico. Dude, I'm sending her to Mexico to live there for a year. That was the best thing they could have done, man. Seriously, it
Yeah.
really after that, man. It 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 it's when was when I started to grow up quicker, because I've got
Mhm.
two sisters. So obviously, as a man, and the older brother, you're supposed to take care of your siblings, especially
Mhm.
if they're female. Like that's that's a
Yeah.
given. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like you have to, And if dad was out of the house, you are the man in charge.
Mhm.
Um, and uh, so I was just forced to grow up quicker than my siblings. And in my mind, it's like, you know what? If they can enjoy their childhood and be kids, you know, while
Mhm.
while I take care of them and help them out, that's okay. I will go through whatever pressure or stress or whatever, to make sure
Mhm.
my sisters still get to live like kids.
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have?
I have a younger brother. Um,
Real nice, dude. I've always wanted a brother, man.
oh, I mean, now it's better, but when you're younger, especially if you're the troublemaker like I was, you always fight
You
because
always
the
fight.
younger
Yep.
brother gets all the love and there's a lot of jealousy and
Yep.
envy inside your heart. And I used to
Yep.
be I used to be like I used to be very fat. I'm just gonna put it that way. I was
Really?
like,
What? No way, dude. I can't
not,
picture that,
see,
man.
I'm gonna text you some photos of me when I was like in middle school, and I was essentially not the cute brother. They used to
Mhm.
go like, oh, like to my little brother, like, oh, he's so cute, and he's like, oh, hey James, and stuff like that. So I had a lot of envy, but
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why it- that's and also that's one of the reasons why I decided to do like a lot of why I love working out now because like I love being fit because I've been super
I give
fat,
you
but
props.
yeah, and also it's working out has been like it's one of like the biggest needle movers for me in my mental health journey. So I always whenever people ask me like James, like what do you do to like get out of a rut? I'm like you just have to like I always go like start with like get some exercise in, clean up your diet, and get good sleep. If
Hmm.
you can do those three things like and have that creates a very strong foundation because if your sleep is messed up and you're like and your physical health is feeling, it gets very hard to fix things on the mental side.
I
And
agree.
I go, it's just like it's and physical side is very it's very simple. It's just sleep, good nutrition, and movement. That's it.
Hmm.
It's as long as you have those three things dialed down, like it's just like what I mentioned before. Like you just get the actions in first, and then the results will follow. And then usually when people get get these three core threes, kind of when the results of that kind of bear fruit, people will oh, of course, not everyone, but a lot of people do notice improvements in their mental health as well. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, but oh yeah, I digress. What was the question again?
Sorry, dude. I kind of got off tangent. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I have horrible ADHD, dude. So I don't even remember my question, man. Um, uh, it was probably something about siblings.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
I
like,
have
how
a
many
younger
siblings do you
brother.
have? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so there was another. You made me remember something else.
Hmm.
Uh, and just think of something else when you said, "Where did your mental health journey start?"
Yeah.
And even before, like, just just cop stuff. Um, I remember it was about the brother comment.
Hmm.
So my dad had so growing up, I had a really best friend, dude, in school. We would do everything together, bro. We would always hang out, just chill. And we were like he was more like the troublemaker,
Yeah.
like we were both troublemakers, but he was like a tier above, dude. Like it was like I could not top him, dude. And
Yeah.
we were best friends in school. Uh, bring him over the house and all that stuff, man. We would just hang out. And it turns out, dude, he was my brother. He was my long lost brother. He was a month apart from me. He was born in
What?
February and I was born in March. Yeah, dude, my dad had a whole nother kid, man. And it was crazy because like once I found that out, I was out and about. Like we lived in a trailer court when
Hmm.
I was a kiddo. And when you think of that, like you think of like of a dilapidated, just like a really just nasty, kind of area. But
Yeah.
dad, dad really maintained it, man, to where it was really, really nice inside. I always had really good memories of that
Yeah.
uh, trailer. But anyways, I was out and about in the trailer court and stuff, and uh, my brother comes up like running, and he's like, "Hey, man, dude, you won't believe what I just found out." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Dude, there's a chance we might be brothers." And like I look at my buddy, my other friend, and start laughing. I'm like, "There's no way." And he's like, "Hey, dude, follow me, man." And so we go up. There's like random like trailer, all the like to the end of that trailer court, and he's like, "Hey, come on in." And go in, and there's this lady. She's like, "Hey, is your mom named Eva Evangelina?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Is your dad named Edgar?" "Yeah." He's like, "Well, your sister's named Stephanie McKenzie?" I was like, "Yeah, what the? Yeah, how do you know that?" And they just kind of look at each other and they're like, yeah, dude, it has to be your brother." And after I realized it, after I found that, just got that information, I started to look at him and I'm like, dude, he does kind of look like me, dude. It's weird. Like the same handshake, the same height, like facial features, just what the heck he does, man. And we never got one thing I regret as an adult is not getting a paternity test. I think that would have been
Yeah.
cool. But like like just like you and your brother, right? Like just by
Yeah.
looking at him, like that's your brother. You know it.
Yeah.
And it was like when we were starting the transition from like junior high to high school, like that weird kind of spot.
Hmm.
He like I said, he was a troublemaker, man. He'd get into just crazy stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
he ended up drowning in the Iowa River, and I remember that morning I got a call from a friend, and he was like, "Hey, man, Edgar, dude, I'm sorry to tell you, man, your brother passed away, dude." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my, are you kidding me?" Like, and it was a crazy point in my life to where it was like we were just starting to bond. Like we were
Hmm.
we were bonded, we were friends, but it was like starting to form like a brother bond. You know what I'm saying? To where it was like he was
Hmm.
coming in and meeting my sisters, my family. Coming over to eat. You know, just hanging out, dude, getting to know him and taking him out on family vacations and stuff like that. We were getting attached. You know,
Hmm.
and and he ended up passing away. And I remember um, uh, my friends and I went to go hang out, and we were chilling, in this like old dilapidated like RV. My buddy's parents bought an RV, and it was like not a nice one. It was horrible. And we were chilling there with a group of friends, and I remember just like feeling like horrible, dude. Like it just like I just got an adrenaline dump. Like it was a full blown panic attack. As a
Hmm.
kid, I didn't know it. Didn't know what
Hmm.
it was. I just knew like something was off, and I ignored it for so many years. I just thought, oh, it's never gonna happen again. You know,
Hmm.
it's not gonna pick back up, or that was just that one time, and it's all said and done. But
Hmm.
it progressed so much into my adulthood because I ignored it. I never took care of it, never paid it any attention to it. That like now is the time that I'm starting to actually go do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
How, how does that, when you're trying to process this, what? what does that what does that process look like for you right now? Or how does that I guess a better way to phrase that will be how does it when did you realize that this was still affecting you in your adult side?
When it was taking a toll on my family, dude.
Hmm.
When I saw my family paying for it, coming home and sleeping all day and leaving my wife to take care of our our first kiddo there at the time, um,
Hmm.
or going to family events and stuff like with my in-laws and just sleeping all the time or kind of being grouchy and stressed. I was like think about it as like a light switch, right? Like, that light switch was always on. The cop mode was always on 24/7. It was just like I never turned that switch off to be like, okay, I'm just Edgar. I'm just me. You know, Seeing it now, like that's time that I can't go back and just fix,
Hmm.
or just take it back in an instant and change all of that. Like once I saw my family paying for it was when it was like, okay, dude, yeah, I've got to do something different. I don't know. I just don't want my kids to go through the same things that I did, growing up or uh, you know, not give them everything, sure, but not I don't know, keeping a happy medium.
Yeah.
I don't know. How old are you?
29. I'm
What?
about to be I'm about to be 30 in 3 months.
Really nice, dude. Oh, so you're about
Yeah.
the same as me, man. Once I hit
Yeah.
30, dude, I was so scared, man. I I don't know what it was about it. I think it was just like the stigma of like, oh, once you turn 30, dude, it all goes downhill. So like I was just morbidly afraid. And then once I turned 30, it was like, oh, okay. Nothing really changes. You got the
Hmm.
you're already a step ahead above me in the sense of you you've got a good diet, your mental health, and you're exercising. That's why I say I give you props. And on top of that, your faith.
Yeah.
Your faith. That's something huge like that I just started to get into. Because in like you had mentioned it before where you're like, yeah, dude, as a cop, like you see the worst of the worst. So I was getting so accustomed to seeing all the negative stuff that I lost my faith. Lost it completely. I didn't even think that wasn't even an afterthought, of like, oh, going to church or nah, no, none of that. In my mind, it's like that doesn't exist.
Hmm.
And it wasn't up until like some really weird things started to happen where um it was I see it as a sign to like, okay, you've got to you've got to have your faith, you know.
Hmm.
The 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 phrase that you said where you're like, hey, you're you know, go and do certain things, go do these actions and then your heart will follow. That's the
Yeah.
perfect saying, dude. Um, because that's what I ended up doing. And then slowly but surely it's like, things started to go away and then
Yeah.
our lives, my family's lives started to become a lot better, you know?
Hmm.
So I give you props. Don't ever. I know it's easier said than done, but don't ever lose your faith. Don't ever lose it. And growing up, I was never. We went to church,
Hmm.
but I never implemented it into my adulthood, you know.
Hmm.
Hmm. But
It changed. It changed. I think it's like it's completely different being forced to go to church and just going through the motions as a
Yes.
child and deciding that, hey, I'm gonna give it an actual try. Or
Yeah.
I've made this. It's not my grandma's decision. I'm going to church this Sunday, but I'm going to decide to go to church. And then, yeah, it's always the actions first and results follow. It's because I realized when I was younger, I had to learn that phrase the hard way because I was always waiting until I was ready before I did anything. And then so a specific example of that was like to get out of depression, I knew I had to get out of my bed. Like,
Yes.
well, I knew I had to move around. I knew I had to do something, but I'm like, I'll just wait until I'm feeling better. And then that waiting period goes for weeks, months, years, and some people live their whole lives waiting until they're ready and just never having the opportunity to change.
Yeah.
And it's so hard because like when you're depressed, you don't have the motivation or you don't have any willpower to do any of these things to change. But to change, you still have to do those actions.
Yeah.
And it's like people get stuck in that waiting period for a very, very long time. And like at one point, like there was this my turning point was once I got suicidal, and then like luckily I failed. But
Thank God.
that was a time when the pain of staying the same outweighed the pain of change.
So
And
that's
then
wonderfully said, dude.
so a lot of people ask that phrase. I heard it somewhere along my mental health journey, and it stuck with me. I'm like, so that's what it was. So like, so I don't take credit for that phrase, but then like, I'm like, that's what happened. When I think back on what happened, so like, people always, I go like, hey man, like, just you have to do something different from what you're currently doing because what you're currently doing got you to where you are. And if you continue to do what you do, you're only going to get what you always got, which is not what you want. Because if you're reaching out to me and if you're trying calm, you want something to change. And I know that for a fact.
Hmm.
Um, People wouldn't reach out to a random guy on the internet asking for advice if they didn't want change. Like I know like deep inside you want change, and if you want change,
Yeah.
you need to do something
You have to.
different. And they go like, but I have no motivation to clean up my diet. I have no I don't want to get out of bed. And like I'm like, dude, doing all these things that you haven't done before, it's uncomfortable and it's
Yes.
painful. It's always things are always scary, things are always painful in the beginning, but it's also painful if things stay the same. So both
Yes.
sides have pain. You just get to decide which pain you want to deal
Yes.
with.
Yep. Yep. Very, very, very well said. And I know, like, and I know it's an uncomfortable topic because you mentioned suicide, and I know, like,
Yeah.
man, there's been countless of times where I remember my first year, dude. And if it's too much, edit it out. Okay. But it's one of those topics that, like, yeah, it's uncomfortable to talk about, but as people, we're just people, right? Like at the end of the day, yeah, sure, I'm in law enforcement, but at home, I'm just me. I'm Edgar. I'm just a normal dude, normal guy. We feel we take things home with us. Um, we've got a family. We're you know all that. But my first year, I remember I was working nights, and I had gotten a call for a suicidal subject, and I all of their lights and sirens, and I pull up into the gravel driveway, and I saw uh, it was a garage, right? But the garage door was just slightly open, and tell them I'm there. I start walking up to the garage, and I hear, yeah, hey, honey, come in, and I go in through like the side door, and I see a gal, older gal, sitting on a chair, uh, with like a little propped up picnic table, the
Mm-hmm.
plastic table.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was playing cards or something. I don't remember. She had something there with her. She was smoking a cigarette, and then she had a gun like right on the table. And and she was like, "Oh, it's okay, honey. I'm not going to use it on you." And I knew like she's going to use it on herself. And I spent 2 hours with her just talking. I'm like, "Hey, like, please don't make me do this. Like, please don't put that gun to your head. Please don't. Like, let me take it away from you." And in my mind, and I know it sounds so unsafe, but it's like, I would rather have them shoot me, than themselves. Um, and she had been drinking a lot. She had been drinking quite a bit. Obviously that didn't help. Um, and I remember she had a bottle of medication too, right next to it. But yeah, after those 2 hours, she looked up at me. She's like, "Hey, Edgar, I think I'm ready. I need to go to bed." "Yeah, girl, you need to go to bed. Let's go to bed." And then she's like, "Okay, you're gonna have to pick me up and help me, to bed or to in the house." "Yeah, yeah, I got you, I got you." And she says, "My husband's sleeping." "Okay, well, we're not gonna try to wake him up." She's like, "Oh, he'll sleep through anything." And sure enough, like he was snoring, he was out, and we were making quite a bit of noise. And
Mm-hmm.
carry her up there into the house and put her in bed, and that was it for that night. And the next day, I reached out just to see how she was doing, and she was like, "Ah, that was dumb. I'm so sorry, Edgar. I put you through that." "No, you're all right." Um, my wife had like my wife and I had talks just like this, where she brought up a good point, because like when I first started, I was getting paid $1,200 a month. That sucks. $1,200 a month, and rent was $750, and we were living in a small little apartment, and it was peak like COVID, so my wife couldn't find a teaching job, and and we did that for 3 years up until we got a house. And I remember looking at her and being like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. Like this whole cop stuff, like this didn't turn out how I wanted to." And she's like, "You know what? Eh, now you don't have to apologize. Did you change lives? Did you help people?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I can say that without a doubt. Like I know I did, and I know I did my job well." And she said, "You know what? That's all that matters. That's all that matters is that you help people and that you change lives." And like I just didn't look at it that way. I looked at
Mm-hmm.
it as like uh, I don't know, like something more beneficial for my family in the long run, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it, you also don't sign up for it for a whole lot of money. I already knew that going in that it wasn't going to pay well at all. But
It's also the traditional culture of wanting to provide for the family, right? It's like
yeah,
it's my job, and when it feels like you can't do that job because you have your duty as a man and he has a duty as a law enforcement. It's like it's
yeah,
you want to do the best on both sides, but I truly appreciate you for your work, Edgar. You like I as a troublemaker when I used to like not like law enforcement too, just like
yeah.
as like but then
Same
like
here.
it's like when you when
Yeah,
you become like when you actually think it's just like I said before, like when you actually think about like what these men and women are doing on their day to day and just putting their lives because like, even just like a traffic stop. can it's it has a chance of you losing your life because you don't know who you're stopping.
Yep, you're
And
absolutely right.
and like when you think like why is there the protocol of like making sure the hands are not shown, I mean hands are not hidden, it's because these got put in place because of things that have happened in the past where officers have
Mhm.
lost their
Yep.
life, right? So it's like when people like when people just give you a hard time for no reason, it's like,
Yep.
dude,
Yep.
come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I've had so many people like I'm not the whole ticket thing with the quota, that's
Yeah,
not true. I'll tell you that
yeah,
that's not true.
yeah,
Because if so, we would be rich, dude. We have so much money, but that's not true at all. In
yeah,
fact, like our sheriff would say, don't write tickets. Like don't. I don't want you guys like if they're doing something, you know, that's like worth writing them a ticket for. Okay, write
yeah,
them a ticket. They're driving drunk, they've got drugs. eh, Okay, they're going 100 miles an hour. All right, write them a ticket. But like if it's just something small, petty, just eh, you know, don't write tickets. And I've never been a ticket writer. Never.
yeah,
Even still to this day, I'm not a ticket writer. But I've noticed so many people talk themselves into a ticket where it's like they just they're like they're having a bad day, whatever, or they're just they've got that mindset of just hating all cops in general. That's like, oh, this person's gonna be the same. It's like, no,
yeah,
I've talked to people afterwards just to be like, hey man, like they end up apologizing afterwards, like, dude, I'm sorry, it was so rude, like you didn't deserve that. I'm so sorry. Like, hey, dude, you're fine. But like, yeah, man, I've had so many people talk themselves into a ticket where it's like, all right, dude, what are you, what are you doing? I've had I've had so many crazy things happen, some funny things.
yeah,
Uh I remember I was out and about patrolling and I'd seen this Lamborghini, beautiful Lamborghini, man.
yeah.
And I pulled up next to it and obviously just joking. I was like, "Hey, you want to race?" And he's like, "No, no, 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 no." And he's like, "Hey," he pointed up by like a gravel road. I was like, "Okay." So I followed him. He's like, "You want to get in?" I was like, "Dude, yeah, I want to get in a Lamborghini. Are you kidding me?" And super cool guy, man, super awesome. He's like, "Hey, man, give me your phone. Do you want a picture?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, absolutely. I want to tell all my guys that I was just in a Lamborghini. Like I've had a lot of good, crazy stories, but I've also had a lot of bad. I always
Mhm,
find myself taking a lot of those things home with me
mhm,
because it's gonna sound weird, man, but it's like, you can feel people's pain.
mm,
I always come home thinking like, oh man, is this person okay? Like, I hope
mhm,
they're sleeping well tonight, or I hope tomorrow's a better day. Like, I'm gonna check on them the next day just to make sure they're good. And I find a lot of people going up to the office just to come up just to thank me. That's been the most coolest part of it all. Where it's like, you know what, maybe I'm doing this job well. You know,
yeah.
um, yeah, yeah. Uh, Kind of going back to family. How big is your family? I know that was just random, but
Yeah. In America, is my whole dad's side here. So I have my family of four, mom, dad, me, my little brother, and then I have cousins. There's five here, four here, and I have a pair of cousins in South Carolina. But the
oh,
ones in
cool.
South Carolina, I've met once in my life. I know nothing about them. I don't even remember their names. And I think there's been something happened there. But my dad's side is essentially here, and my mom's side is still in Korea. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so it's been split up like that. Is your family, how is it with your family?
So I've got my they're spread out in a couple places like
Mm,
Iowa, Texas, Illinois. California, but it's mainly like my mom's side.
Hmm.
Uh, my dad's side, it's literally just kind of the opposite of yours.
Yeah.
It's like they're my dad's side is mostly in Mexico, and
Hmm.
it's like close to the border. Um, but yeah, like my the majority of my mom's family's in the United States. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know how it is with your family, but like you know how like well, at least for me, like my mom's side of the family, it's like the family that you get along with, you know. But like my dad's side is like the ones that's like, oh yeah, dude, I don't know if I
Something
want to get
happened.
close to that. Yeah, something happened to where it's like, yeah,
Something
I'm
happened.
okay. I'm okay. I'm good. I don't. It's not like you would invite them over,
Yeah.
just be at home with you. Like, nah, I'm all right. I'm okay. Like, yeah, just something happened to where it's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay away from that. I don't know how it is with your family
Yeah.
too. You know.
This is the South Carolina family. Something happened there. I tried asking, but then like the response I got from my mom was like I shouldn't pry further. So the the family, the uncle came to live with us, and then the mom and the two daughters, I believe, stayed there. And then so something happened there, and then now the uncle has disappeared. I have no idea what the nitty gritty is, but I go like I have enough stress and work alone. I don't know if I
Yeah.
can add an additional uncle, dad, family drama into my life.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't do that either, dude. I would not do that either. I remember uh, when I graduated high school, I got a phone call,
Yeah.
and uh, it was I don't remember his name, but he said like, "Yeah, it's your uncle so and so, and where are you going to college?" He was congratulating me, and he was asking me a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff, like, "What are you going to college for?" And I told him I originally wanted to go to college for computer science. I was
Yeah.
wanting to integrate both that and law enforcement together. I don't know, it was just one of those dumb ideas, but um, I was like, yeah, I want to go to the University of Iowa, and this is what I want to do. And he said, okay. He's like, I will pay for all your college. Um,
Well,
you know, I'm really proud of you, and blah blah. Just and I was like, oh, awesome, man. Like that, dude. That sounds great. Like, yeah, man. I didn't have a, no, I did have a job at then, but like, I was just broke, and it's like, okay, cool. And and I didn't know at the time, but like, mom was listening into that conversation, and like 10 minutes later. Like I go into my room, and I hear like mom just kind of yelling in the background, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And, like I go downstairs, and then I hear her say like, "Don't ever call again," and then just like hang up. I'm like, what? I was like, "Mom, what happened?" She was upset, and she said, "Yeah, I told him no. Like I told him no, he's not going to pay for college, and just stop calling you." And I was like, I was mad. I was like, "What, Mom? Like, what the heck? Why did you do that? Like he could have paid for my college." And she was washing dishes and she just didn't say anything, and then I went to go leave, and then she was like, yeah, I just that uncle that called, he's not a good person. uh, he said he was going to pay for college. I put money on it, but he was probably going to use you to smuggle drugs back and forth from the US
mm.
to Mexico. And I said, oh, I was like, what? I was like, we have a narco family. And she said, yeah. I was like, what? I was like, I never, why do you tell me this, dude? Like, what the heck? It was just some crazy secret that just never, never got brought up, never got
Yeah.
told, and the crazy part, like, I remember going to Mexico and driving by this this beautiful, like, dude, it looked like a mansion. It was huge. And just like what you picture, like Pablo Escobar's
Yeah.
like home with like these like decorative walls
Yeah.
with like these just fields of like agave plants and horses, dude. Literally that, dude. And I ended up finding out from one of my cousins that was his house. I was like, what, dude? I was like, that's crazy, man. Like armed security, dude. Like, bro, it was like the full, the everything, bro. Like what you see in a in a TV show or in a movie. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I was like, and I was joking with my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna go to the house, and she's like, No, Edgar, stop. Like, just shut up. I was like, come on, I just want to see what it is. Like, cause at that time, like I was like 2, 3 years into into law enforcement, so it was like, I just wanted to see what it is.
Yeah.
But nah, it was just being funny. I wasn't actually gonna go do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just those interfamily secrets that people keep that you just didn't think that
Hmm.
was 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 a thing, was true. But it's just those old school kind of value.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
I think like families always have like these super cool stories, and it makes you really realize that everyone has their own story. There's
Yeah.
always, and then this makes you, and then when you truly like soak that in, it's really hard to just hold hate for people. It's like you should like you want to like
Hmm.
understand people and like yeah, it's like small tangent, like I still don't know the details of this, but I never like really like got into deep conversations with my grandma. It was always like, "What do you want to eat for dinner?" or stuff like that. But
Hmm.
she recently showed me like a picture book of my grandpa, and it's like, so they lived during like the Korean War time when like the North invaded and like all that drama
Wow.
happened, and like I think there was a time when my grandpa had to work in the labor camps in some country in the Middle East for like 7 years because he had to provide for my grandma at home. I'm like, what the heck? When the heck this
What?
happen? And she had like some pictures. I'm like, dude, what the heck? So like, yeah, like parents and grandparents, they all come from a completely different time
Mhm.
than what we live in.
Yeah, that's crazy you say that because
Yeah,
my grandma, I was just talking to my grandma, and I
yeah.
never knew this dude, but she was an orphan. Like,
Hmm.
and now realizing as an adult, I'm like, I understand why, like, my mom was raised so cold because
Mm.
because my grandma, like, she was an orphan. Her parents had died at a really young age, and she had to go live with an aunt who was really really mean, uh, and uh, and then got married at a really young age. I think at like 15, dude. She got married at 15 in order to escape the poverty and the aunt that was
Mhm.
taking care of her. So she got married at a really young age, and through her life, she had like 11 kids. 11 kids, man. And looking back at it, I'm like, I don't know how. Dude, I can't do it with two. Imagine 11. Like, there's no way. And mom always tells a story about, like, not always tells, but just like
Yeah.
when she goes to relive her childhood, she always talks about it like it was always a very rough rough time. She said, yeah,
Hmm.
grandma, like the grandma I know now, I can't. It's weird to picture, but she said she never said I love you or never, gave you a hug.
Hmm.
If you gave her a hug, it was very uncomfortable for her. It was like it wasn't a thing. So like even I'm not gonna say my childhood was horrible because it wasn't, but like I know mom loves me, you know, and to hear
Hmm.
her say it is like, oh shoot, like it kind of catches me off guard, but it's like
Hmm.
I understand it more from her side, where it's like there was a saying that someone said that it was hurt people, where it's like, because grandma got brought up in just kind of a rough life that it kind of progressed on to mom, and the cycle just kept going to me, you know?
Yeah.
Not to the extent of what my grandma did, but
Yeah.
yeah, just a little better, you know? And that's one thing that I want to be able to break with Stella, you know? And even like the culture clash between like my wife and I too.
Hmm.
That's one thing I want to be able to break too. I don't know how it is. I don't know if in your family dynamic if it's the same thing for you.
I don't have a wife yet, but I feel like because every culture has good and bad.
Yeah,
Every culture. So if there's two cultures you're trying to intermarry, the best option would just be to get the best of both cultures. It doesn't, and you create your own culture.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Very well said. I like that.
It doesn't always have to be one or the other. You can just pick A, B, and C from here, X, Y, and Z from here, and then just
Yeah.
create the because the future, the pages are blank, right? It's just however you want to write the story. And
It is is marriage pushed heavily in your culture?
yeah. Yeah. By yeah, every chance they get. But we grew up pretty poor. This is a typical immigrant story.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's yeah, but so I go like, but I'm very maybe maybe I just don't just because I didn't experience all that like all that love when I was younger.
Hmm.
Maybe it's not that big of something I chase. I know like a lot of people do chase that, but for me, I've just always been career driven. Just kind of like bettering my physical, just very like growth driven. Like I want to grow, I want to see like what I want to see what how cool and how big of a company I can create. I want to see how
Yeah.
many people I can help. I want to see how big I can get my biceps. I want to see uh,
Hmm.
uh like how much of a Greek god I can look. And I always just constantly trying to better myself. And I think that's kind of a habit I picked up in my mental health journey because I was forced to better myself because I just had so much change I needed to get out of it, where I was and where I wanted to be. And when you do that for like over a decade, that just kind of became my mindset. I want to see how far I can push myself, I
Hmm.
mean, faith in finances and physical health and mental health and things like that. But they just want me. They go like from their eyes, they just want me to. They're like, where are my grandkids at?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's how my
Yeah,
family
where are my
was too for
grandkids
the
at?
longest time ever.
Yeah, I always push back. I'm like, I go, because one of my big goals is I do want to retire them. Some, they're getting older, and then with
Hmm.
old age comes with illness, and I want to, and I can see it. If
Yeah.
one day, like like it kind of settled in me, because like for your whole first 2 decades of your life, your parents and your both your parents don't age. They look the exact same
Yeah.
age to you, in your eyes,
Yeah.
and one day it hits. You're like, oh, they're kind of getting old, and like as um as uh as an older Asian person who doesn't speak English fluently, they don't get like they're getting paid minimum wage. And minimum wage in California is it's very difficult to get by. And so like I'm like my one of my biggest goals right now that I'm working towards is to get to a point where I can hopefully like retire them and go like, hey,
Yeah.
that risk you took in coming to America in
Yep.
1998,
It paid
like
off.
paid off. It paid
Yep.
off. Like I want to go like I want to like that's one of my biggest driving factors and one of the biggest like and I used this to like rush myself because like I think like it would be devastating to me if one of them passes away before I'm able to hit that goal.
Hmm.
And I feel like and I don't want to think about what I'm going to need to do at that time because I'll deal with it when that
When it
happens.
happens. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't but I feel like I'm going against the clock. It's their illness, like versus how fast I can make grow a small company, and which is why I have no problem working 100 hours a week, and I've been doing so for the past few years. That's why, and then that would be one of my driving drives in life at the moment. And then like I know like in different chapters, and hopefully once I can squash that drive, I can, because I also want a really big family. Since I had such a family that was so jigsawed. I want the opposite of that. I see it in
Mhm.
the movies. I see like, and then I spend Christmas with a lot of my friends' families just because of the situation at home. But like I see um, like Vietnamese, like some of my Vietnamese friends, like they have like 30 family members coming together, turning up and having fun, and like all the kids are having
That's
fun, all
so
the parents
cool,
are having
dude.
fun. Like I want
I
that.
want
So
that. Yeah.
I'm like, so I want a lot of kids and I want to have a big family, but I know like for now, it's, I would say my parents come first.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
uh, I don't know. But then as I reach 30, to be completely honest, I'm kind of conflicted because like I thought, I thought I can start a small business and then next year I'll be a millionaire and I'll be like Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
dude.
like, I'm a few years into this. The first 2 years, I worked 100 hours a week without getting paid, and I was actually just losing money in my savings. And now I'm finally at a point where, um, like I can pay myself minimum wage, but it's still nowhere there. But yeah, I realize it's like this goal might take longer than I thought, but I still have like I can't wait too long on my family side. So like that's one. That's one of the things that keep me up at night. I haven't found an exact answer for it yet, but it's like,
Um,
should I make a small pivot and go pursue the family thing as well, or should I just stay double down on this career side, with to also help my parents' family? It's something that I'm kind of like still
that's a
thinking
good,
about.
that's a good kind of inner like battle to go through, dude. Because man, like when I when my wife and I were dating, because at that point we're just dating.
Hmm.
Um, in 2019, I was like, all right, I'm gonna enroll myself into the academy, but the academy is in the state of Missouri, so I have to move.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd asked Nikki like, hey, do you want to come with me? She said, yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like I'm there, and she was still kind of confined at home with her
Hmm.
mom. So it was one of those like she had no issues of packing up everything and then just leaving because she knew like if she stayed there, she was going to be confined to that one bubble and just
Hmm.
that was going to be it, you know. Um, the way that like that my mom has phrased it to me is like, hey, no, you go live your life. Do not worry about us. We're fine.
Yeah.
Whenever that time comes, we will figure it out, you know? It's easier said than done. Way
Yeah.
easier said than done. Cause like, you know, although she says that, I know that's not what she wants.
Of
You
course.
know? But
The
like
par-
the end goal I know for her is like seeing her grandkids and seeing us happy and stable in a
Mhm.
home where we have everything that we need. We're okay, you know, because I know that's what any parent would want.
Yeah.
Um, uh, that because how old are your parents?
I know the
Mid
years
50s,
of
60s.
19, they were born 1966. So
So they're
what,
almost the same age as my parents, dude.
yeah, it's also, but our family, I know I'm not comparing, like, I'm not trying to go like, oh, my family
Yeah,
is
yeah,
worse.
yeah,
No,
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 no, but
no.
one thing is we come from a family of diabetics, and then
Same.
that's taking a toll. And I feel like a lot, I used to come from the
Mexicans are
diabetes
a
world.
lot. Yeah.
And because before I created KALM, I actually come from medical devices and sold continuous glucose monitors for diabetic patients. It's the little
Very
sensors.
cool.
So I come from the diabetes world, and I feel like uh, a lot of Asian countries and lots of Hispanic countries are very diabetic
Yep.
because there's on the Asian side there's so much rice and noodles, and on the
Hmm.
Hispanic side there's so much tortillas.
Yep. Yep. It's the food.
And
Yep. It's a
the
hundred
food.
percent food. A hundred
Yeah.
percent.
Yeah, but I see it taking a toll on them, and like I try to like tell them like you need to exercise, but you can't for someone who hasn't exercised for 60 years of their lives, it's very hard to
They're not
change
going
habits.
to. Yeah.
And I know they are trying. So like my mom started doing dance classes, and she really enjoys it,
Oh,
and she doesn't
nice.
see it as exercise. So I'm like, that's really good. And then um, my my dad says he started exercising, but I don't believe
I
him.
don't believe her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dude, if my dad told me that, I'd be like, dude, yeah, there's no way you're exercising. Dude. I already know it. The
Yeah.
so, um, has your family had trouble getting insulin?
No, no, I don't think we've ever. They wouldn't tell
Really?
me if they did. If they
Grandma,
did,
my
is
grandma,
that? Yeah.
my grandma always has trouble getting insulin.
Wait,
Oh,
wait, too
it's
much
so
or too?
expensive. Too
Oh,
not enough.
we are on Medicaid, so uh,
Same thing with
but
grandma.
if they did, I know my parents wouldn't tell me that.
Yeah,
So I know
thank you.
one of the things that made me change was like uh, my mom went through some really bad health things in silent. Like my dad didn't know about it, and I didn't know about it. And she fought the battle. She fought this fight silent battle for a very long time, while I was in my depression, while I was being a degenerate, while
Oh,
I was doing all this. And then like I had to learn through and while I was like suicidal and like all that, and I had to learn through my aunts. She's like, "Do you know what's happening with your mom?" And I'm like, "No." Uh, and that was like a lot, the attempt, this news, and all these like crazy things that happened that kind of like snapped me out of everything. And then like I'm going to decide to change, and that's
mhm.
when I say like the pain of staying the same was more was heavier than the pain of change. So
Was
and then this is around my 17 to 18 year old, and I was actually gonna not. Oh yeah, and then since then it's like the first 6 7 years like through
mhm,
college and in like the beginnings of post graduation. I'm trying to break 10 years of like bad habits. I
mhm.
started drinking when I had my first cigarette when I was 12 years old. I started drinking when I was
Nice.
14.
Nice.
And then
Well, not nice, but yeah, about
yeah.
same here, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it's just so like and then I got introduced to street drugs and
Uh-huh.
like and then I got introduced to prescription drugs in college, and then it's a lot of escaping reality,
Yes.
a lot of
Yep.
escaping reality, and then like it was a very for 6 7 years is I just it's a blur. Like I don't even know what
Hmm.
I I fell into like bad addiction and like stuff like that. But I knew like I was also trying to like change. So like I was getting addicted to all these things, but I started exercising more. But it was like a transition period. So I have all these negative habits I was slowly phasing out, and all these good habits that I've started incorporating, the but then it was like a mixture of both. And then like 6 7 years into that, so like a few years after my graduation is kind of like when the good habits finally are over, like all the bad habits have now like left the door. I still uh not all of it because I still take nicotine,
Mm-hmm.
but
Same here.
but most of it, like all the Xanax daily, the drinking every single day, the
Mm-hmm.
party, the street
Mm-hmm.
drugs and all that, like has left the door, and then the the fruits of my good habit finally blossom. So when people, so like for those of you, if you listening, s- like change can sometimes take like it doesn't happen in a week. It took me like 7 and 8 years of constantly falling into addiction, telling myself I'm not gonna take a Xanax again in the next week. Sedated for days.
Yep.
Tell myself I'm never it's and then you feel a lot of all this shame, like and then you
Mm-hmm.
feel like crap and you it's just like you just go
Just
through
a
this
roller coaster, dude. It's a that it was easy
yeah,
to look at the bottle or like during my accident, dude. Like
yeah,
they, I gotten hydros,
yeah,
and dude, I was morbidly afraid. Dude, I was just mortified because I'm like, man, I'm gonna get addicted to these, dude. Like I've
yeah,
heard so many horror stories of like cops getting in accidents and then getting this prescription and then getting addicted to it. And so an alternative to that, um, what a buddy told me was kratom. And
yeah,
dumb, just don't get me wrong, it did help the anxiety and the pain portion of it, but it it, just like any natural supplement or whatever, you can overuse it, just
mhm,
like anything, right? Just like a prescription medication. And um, not to mention, like, if you were to stop cold turkey, just like nicotine or something like that, you'd face
yeah,
the withdrawals of it. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
mm,
And I've noticed too, the calm has helped a ton with that, dude. I really didn't
yeah,
think that it was going to up until like the first 3 days where it's like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm all right. I'm good.
yeah,
Let's keep on trucking. And another thing too um, that I have a question for you.
mhm,
eh, there was a comment or a review I'd seen. It was like, yeah, the owner, he actually does reach out to you. Like it takes him a couple days, but he does reach out to you. I was like, no way, dude. And then I saw a text message. I was like, what? No, dude, that's so cool, man. Uh, and the one the if I can offer any advice to you, dude, to help you out, and I mean in the sense of helping people,
mhm,
because you have the same instinct as I do, right? As a cop, you want to be able to help people as much as you can.
yeah,
I did it, and I still do it now to this day, where it's like you want to be Superman, dude. You want to help every single person, every single one. You want to grab them and then just
yeah,
tear whatever they've got going on, right? You want to just break that habit, do anything and everything you can for that person. But I noticed I was taking a lot of that home with me, and I would stress myself out way more than I needed to be. I'd lose sleep over it, dude. I have panic attacks, just craziness, dude, over wanting to help every single person. And the the harsh reality that I had to learn was that I cannot do that. I cannot do that, dude. Because when I'm
yeah,
at home, like I have my wife to take care of my kiddos,
yeah,
you can't do that. As much as pure as your heart is to helping people, just you got to find a fine line of like, okay, we're turning on that light switch to just, okay, now it's time to help people. But when you go home, turn it off, dude. Turn it off. And
yeah,
you're just James, right? You're just James. You're home. You're chilling. You're not doing. Just relax. And
yeah,
because you're gonna burn yourself out. Trust me, dude. I've done it so many times. I'm. I've come to turn on the light switch, and when I go to turn it off, it won't turn off, dude. The light won't turn on. The bulb is like shot, it's burnt, dude. I can't like it's like okay, great, dude. Like, you know, it just yeah, bro. Like I said, it's one of those things that if I can instill something into you to just like at least keep it in mind to where it just helps
Yeah.
you keep your sanity, you're golden.
One of my small group at church, the leader told me the exact same thing. He's uh
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah,
he's
dude.
like, James, so I've texted over 15,000 customers
I
with that
believe it.
cell phone.
I believe it.
And he's like when and I'm not a psychiatrist. Like I just kind of when people ask me questions, I just go based on like what happened in my life. Like I just kind of I'm just like I'm not like a psychiatrist, therapist. I'm not trained or anything like that. When people just go like,
Mhm.
hey, like I can't sleep, I just go like, have you tried taking a break from social media? It's just like if things small
Yeah,
tips like right?
yeah.
But then it's sometimes it's it from every conversations because I'm talking to a lot of people who are coming from broken or dark places.
Hmm.
Sometimes a little bit of that damage carries over to me,
Yep.
and then that
Yep. Absolutely right. It's because you're empathic, dude. That's the same thing that happens to me where it's like you
yeah,
literally feel these people's pain and it's like that all just it
it
you
builds.
bring it in by the time like when it comes to go to sleep, it's like I can't sleep, dude. I can't.
Yeah,
Like you're just laying in bed or you're laying in bed
yeah,
with your eyes closed and you're like I can't sleep.
yeah,
So yeah, do you remind me of a buddy of mine?
yeah,
Uh, Funny enough, I actually pulled him over. Um, the car was swerving, dude, like crazy, man. And I was like, dude, this dude's gonna get in a crash, man. So I pull him over, and I'm like, hey, man, is Deputy Gutierrez, blah blah. I pulled you over. He's like, no, man, I'm sorry, dude. I was like, man, you're driving all over the road, man. You all right? And he said, yeah, dude. I'm coming back from my job at the Lake of the Ozarks, and dude, I'm just tired. I've had I don't know what he said, how many hours of sleep, and I'm just trying to get home. I was like, all right, dude. I was like, well, let me just buy you an energy drink or something, dude. I just want to make sure you get home safely. And they said, yeah, man, that's cool. And so we go to a gas station, get him an energy drink. We just kind of chill and talk for a little bit. And he was like, hey, man, you're the coolest cop I ever met, dude. I was like, I appreciate it, man. And and I was like, hey, dude, I was like, I don't do this, man. I was like, but just let me know you got home safe, okay? I was like, here's my number. Can you just text me when you get home? He's like, yeah, yeah, dude. And he said, I was like, hey, dude, whenever you're good to go, let me know, and then I won't waste your time, dude. Just, whatever. And he said, hey, I think I'm good. I got enough energy to go home. He's like, I'm not gonna finish the whole thing because if not, I'm gonna be up the whole night.
yeah,
And and sure enough, like he texted me at like 2, 3 in the morning, like, hey, dude, I'm home. Thank you so much, man. And we became really good friends after that. He was working uh, at Mercedes-Benz detailing
yeah,
cars, dude, like detailing high-end cars, man. Lambos, dude, like Mercedes, dude, beautiful cars, man.
yeah,
He'd send me pictures of like these cars he'd detail on Snapchat. Beautiful cars, man. But he was working himself to death, dude. And we were still in our apartment at that time. And it was a weekend where I had off and I texted him like, hey, dude, you should come over. And he said, oh, dude, I'm working. And he said, ah, screw it, dude. I'm gonna head over to your house. All right. And so we chill, we just play video games, eat. Like we ordered a pizza. He pulls up in he just bought a brand new Mercedes, dude. It was like a $90,000 car, dude. Beautiful, like custom paint, like leather seats, beautiful car, man. And and he was laughing, dude, when we were playing video games. We were playing Resident Evil, which is just really scary.
yeah,
And
yeah,
he was he was uh he was having so much fun, dude. We were both having a blast. And and uh he looks at me and he's like, dude, he's like, Edgar, he's like, I'm jealous of what you have. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, he's like, you have your wife, you have your dog, like you have someone to come home to. He's like, Edgar, he's like, I've got a house at the lake. He's like, and I've got a 30,000 dining room set, but I have no one to share it with. He's like, I've got nothing. And he's like, I see what little you have, but you're happy. He's like, and I'm not happy. I'm miserable. And he was like legitimate. He was uh wanting to go to the academy and work with me to just to get literally exactly what I've got, you know? And I'm like, dude, maybe I'm doing something right, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but I remember telling him like, dude, whenever you find your happy spot, like please don't let go of it. And he made the decision to go to Hawaii with one of his friends, just as like for a little vacation. And he said when he left, he was bawling. He's like he didn't want to leave, and so he actually moved. I'm so proud of him, man. He actually ended up moving to Hawaii. He ended up starting his own detailing business in Hawaii, and he is so much happier, dude. Um,
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's so cool to see what he's done just by himself, dude. Like with the knowledge that he has, he made it work, and his company's actually taking off. Just literally, just like it's the same kind of
Yeah.
concept as yours, dude. It's so cool, but just don't, yeah, brother, don't burn yourself out, man. Because I thought of it, and I'm like, dude, how? I can imagine the thousands of people that get this product, and he reaches to every single one. Like, there's no way I would ever be able to manage that time. No way. No way. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, it's yeah, I've definitely traded my sanity for it, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, I always just go like one more year. Just go grind for one more year, it'll pay off.
Mhm.
One more year, I tell myself that. But since it's the third year of this, and then yeah, I mean like it's just like I said, I'm in that position like to try to chase that family because I feel like
Yeah.
family and like it's I just need to find the balance of career and like my happiness because until now I've kind of like lived to like screw my happiness. I'm just gonna put in the action and the results will follow.
Yeah. But dude, no, it
That
doesn't work that way because I've tried it too,
that
man. And it's just
double-edged
like,
sword.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of like how I lived it, but it's like turning or about to turn 30 has really shifted my perspective and like I
Yeah.
think like it was okay for me to do this in my 20s, but people's goals change with seasons. Doesn't mean I have to throw away this company, but sometimes
No.
maybe let maybe take the foot off the pedal. So that's
Yes. I
definitely
agree. Because think about it. The
yeah.
thing that I would always tell my buddy,
Yeah.
dude, you remind me of him so much, man, is
Yeah.
and I'd ask him this, dude, and he'd sit there and think, dude. He'd be like, honestly, Edgar, like I haven't. When's the time you took to do something you actually enjoy?
Yeah.
Like when's the last time you did something fun? Just yourself, dude.
Dude, like when I had like so last year, oh
Last
no,
year. Oh, well, I was like last
last year it was definitely last year when so my favorite thing to do of all time is traveling. Traveling is like my happy place.
That's awesome.
Then like I had to put traveling on hold for a few years when I did start the company, but last year October I actually traveled to be the best man for my friend's
Nice.
wedding.
Nice,
And I think
dude. That that as long as you do something just like
yeah.
for yourself that like because my buddy like genuinely like could not answer it. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like, let's go do something. I don't care what it is. Like, just let's go do something. Just to take your mind off of work, just to like reset, just to hit a reset button, just once. And like after that, I noticed like he was a different person, dude. Whereas like he almost he became more selfish about himself, like
Yeah.
doing things that he liked, instead of like always. being on these crazy hours at work and putting so much time, making mm, uh, large amounts of money, but he
Yeah.
wasn't happy, dude. Um, but like I already noticed you're more grounded in that aspect of, you
I
know,
don't feel that way. I try,
I can
I
see
try
it,
like
dude.
to like, because like I work on average about 90 hours a week. And then like on let's say new busy weekends, it can go upwards to 110. And then but never less than 80. Never less than 80. And it's been this way for I did this since I started my W-2, my first career ever when I worked in the diabetic world, because I've always like I want to be number one. I want to be number one.
Uh-huh.
So, but then back then I had paid time off, so I would still have
Yeah.
my once a year vacation and things like that. But then yeah, it's been like this my whole life. But like I still feel like I'm not working enough. It's crazy. I'm like, should I? So like sometimes I go like, I should I condense both of my meals into one meal so I can have. Sometimes
That's
do
right.
that. I do that.
That's
So I try to like find.
mm-hmm.
Or like I always so one of the things I love to do on my downtime is I actually watch anime. It's
Nice, me
like my
too.
TV. It's my you do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my like at the end of the day, like I watched two episodes of anime to end my day,
Nice.
46 minutes. 46 minutes, and then I can still get 90 hours of work in if I did 46 minutes, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I go like, maybe I should sacrifice the anime. Maybe the reason why my company is not big is because I'm watching those 46 minutes of anime.
No, that's not it.
So like,
Yeah.
it's just the way my brain is wired. Like I'm very tough on myself, and like one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that what got me super suicidal is super depressed is I used to always worry about what people thought about me. Like, do they like me? Do they like what do they think about that conversation? Did I say something weird? And then like with the thing that got me really suicidal was when I realized like all the friends I had, some they were actually not my friends. Like I
Uh-huh.
kind of got betrayed, and I really felt alone. And so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the family, and I no longer had the friends. And I'm like, oh, then no one in the world cares about me. Then there's no point in living, right? And so that's when like the spiral started. But it's that mindset always. I think it still carries over to who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, am I good enough? It's that like I'm like, no, I'm not good enough. I'm always like if I reach like for more tangible example, like if I reach a two plates have always been my bench press goal since I was since my inception of going to the gym and picking up that first dumbbell. And then I hit two plates about like a year and a half, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and then like now I can't stop comparing myself to the person who benches three plates. And then I'm like, I'm not good enough. So, but then that will carry over to every other aspect of my life. And like, it's just like, it's very, I've been working on this. I've been trying to be more grounded, like, and enjoy the present, enjoy the smell, enjoy the California weather. Like, there's no snow right now. Just kind of like, it's find the
Crazy to
small
me. We're
things.
about to get a bad snowstorm this weekend.
Yeah. So I've been trying to like that's something I've definitely been working on, but like yeah, I mean it's just it there's a lot of entanglement and I just need to like untangle things one at a time. So this is why like I mean mental health journey is like there's no finish line. You
Mm-hmm.
just
Yep.
get better and like yeah. Edgar, really one small is it cool if we take a quick restroom break? Like a
Yeah,
two
yeah, yeah.
minute restroom
Yeah,
break?
brother. You're good, dude. I've got to go get something to drink. I was just gonna ask.
Okay, okay. We'll meet back here in a second.
Okay. All right, bro. All right. Um, this is my dog. He, he's
Yeah.
he's a little bit overweight, dude. Come here.
That
He's
just
a little
means you
fast.
too much love. Too much love.
Yeah, dude. Listen, dude, the way I look at it, man, is like he as long as he's happy, he loves his food. Just let him chill, dude. He's all right. Um,
Yeah.
he's gone through a lot of pain and suffering, man. Uh,
Yeah.
so let him live, man. Let him be happy. But yeah, dude, we took him to the vet, and and my wife was pregnant at the time with our first kiddo, and the vet tech is like, yeah, on a scale from like 1 to 10, one being severely like malnutrition and 10 being obese, he's at a 9.5. We're like, dude, what? And my wife, like, her hormones were like through the roof, so she was so mad hearing that. I swear, I could tell she wanted to say you're fat, like, dude, no, Nikki, but yeah, she was so mad. But
Yeah.
yeah, our little guy, like, he just chills out, he hangs out, man. What's
Yeah.
up? Um, there was a question I was gonna ask you too.
Hmm.
But I forgot. Um, we were talking about, yeah, dude, like I said, my ADHD is rampant. So there's things that I find myself constantly forgetting. Um, I don't know. If I think of it, I'll let you know.
Yeah. No, no, no problem. This was a super fun conversation, and I wanted to
Yeah,
kind of
dude.
pull talk on your experience with Kratom, just because like Kratom has never been I didn't know about what this was until like last year. When one customer told me he was like, yeah, he's like, hey, this your product really helped me with getting off of he was getting off kratom and benzo at the same times. And
Hmm.
I'm like, I know what benzos are, but I'm like, what's kratom? And then since then, Instagram or Facebook is constantly listening to our
Yep.
conversations or something, but
Yeah. You
it's been
ads.
just yeah, it's just been
Yep.
I've been hearing every single day a question at least revolving about around kratom. So I wanted to
Mhm.
kind of just learn more about what your journey was. Like, was it? So I know there's kratom and there's 7OH, but
Yes.
which one were you
So I was
partake?
I was using I was using both.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not say was using. I still use just in moderation. Like
Mm-hmm.
kratom. Think about like kratom as an energy drink, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then your 7OH is like your 5 hour energy or your energy shots. Like those are more concentrated, right?
Yeah.
The 7OH is, and I can tell even like from using kratom, 7OH is more potent and more addictive. Like the labels on the back, they lie, dude. They're horrible about it. Um, it's way more addictive. If I were to go cold turkey right now
Mm-hmm.
on both of them, like the withdrawals would be horrible. I get uh, a lot of body aches, a lot of restlessness, uh,
Yeah.
very agitated, um, dizzy. Just like your regular withdrawals from like uh,
Yeah.
a pain medication. But what kratom does is it affects your GABA receptors for pain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's they have just like marijuana strains. Kratom has its different strains as well too. You've got your green, your red, your yellow, and your white. Each does they do generally the same thing, but like for example, if you want more energy during the day, you would take the green. The red
Mm-hmm.
is the more sedative
Mm-hmm.
one that relaxes the muscles for pain and
Yeah.
anxiety. You know, I do think if taken in moderation, just like any drug, it is useful. It's just got the high potency too for abuse. You know, you where you become dependent on it. Um,
Yeah.
I know they say it, yeah, it's natural and all that stuff, but like it's tough to get off of, just like a benzo or a painkiller,
Mhm.
hydros, whatever. But it's got the very similar earthy taste to the um, the calm,
Hmm.
in the sense of like the green powder. It comes in a
Yeah.
green powder, or they sell it in capsules. And what people do is they either mix it with like a juice,
Hmm.
or do a wash and toss where they just like scoop,
Yeah,
scoop
just
some,
like yeah.
yeah, and um, but I noticed like if you do cold water and then take kratom, it almost sticks to the surface of the water, so it's hard to wash down. So it's something warmer, it washes down a lot better. But yeah, dude, if you look up, you get down the rabbit hole of looking up kratom, you'll see it as like, they're gonna ban it, and it's gas station heroin.
Hmm.
Because it genuinely does, as like a first time user, if you use too much of it, you get sick, you puke. Um, and it does really have like the sedative effects if you do take quite a bit, where it's like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, I'm like nodding off here. Um,
Yeah.
and um, it's one of those things, like, as like having a family, I always think about, and I'm sure you've come to feel the same way too, where it's like you feel, I cuss a lot. I cuss a lot.
Yeah. Go
I'm not
ahead.
cussing,
No,
so I'm
no,
trying. Can I? Okay. Ah,
you
great.
can.
So I that's my worst trait ever, dude. Even talking to people, I'm so bad at it. But I'll ask like, hey, can I cuss? And I'll people will say, yeah, yeah, I cuss. Like I say, you're all right. Like, just be you. Okay. Which is nice. So
Yeah.
spending money on kratom and then going home, it's like, it makes me feel like a shit bag, because it's like, dude, I've got a fame. Like, I gotta be a
Hmm.
man about it. I've got to quit these dumbass habits, and get some healthier ones, and not, that's money I could be spending on my little girl, you know.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, kratom, there for a while, was going to get banned. Um, and 7-OH is, I guarantee you, I'd say not even a year, it's going to get banned. I put money on it, dude, because the labels are really misleading, and,
Hmm.
and it's very, very addictive, dude. Very addictive.
I just had a podcast with another father who he it's going to be episode 26. So your episode 28 are two podcasts ago, and then
Awesome.
he um he was an alcoholic his whole life and was sober for 13 years, and then got a sample of 7-OH at a vape shop
Yep.
and instantly got hooked, and
Yep.
was within weeks was taking 1,200 milligrams
Oh my
of
gosh,
7-OH.
dude, that's crazy.
So
So sorry, bro. I don't mean to stop. I
yeah,
just get excited, but like, because I want to make people aware of it. Like,
yeah,
so there's different brands of it, right? But
yeah.
they come in a pressed tablet. You've got like Opia, Smurf, like different brands, right? But they
Mhm.
each come with like four tablets, or it's one big tablet that
Yeah.
cut into four, right? Um, and the more expensive one, the Opia brand, runs 50, little over $50 for four tablets, and there's
Hmm.
like 40. Yeah, each of those pressed tablets are 10 milligrams each,
Yeah.
and they make some that are higher, but
Yeah.
dude, one of my buddies, he's so dependent on it that, I mean, think about it. If you're taking four of those tablets, or even one a day, right?
Hmm.
In 4 days, you're going and spending another $50. Or, you buy two of those, and the $100 goes down the drain to buy. 8 tablets like that. That it's really really addictive, dude. And
Mhm.
I need to introduce my buddy to this product to get him off of it because it's come to a point where he's buying so much of it often that he's using like his check, his work, because he works at the vape shop, dude. So it's literally there, like at his grasp. So when he needs something, he
Yeah,
just buys it, and he's spending his check on it to where he's not making, um, he's having trouble paying bills and
yeah,
uh, just the addiction, man. It just it's taking a toll on him, and I know this would help him out. I know because it's
yeah.
helped me out a ton, dude.
So have you been able to at least, how much have you been able to taper down on since you've added calm to the mix? Was
I'd
it,
Great question. I'd say 50%, dude. I was
yeah.
taking a lot of kratom. Grams, because I get asked like, "Hey, how many grams are you taking a day?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. I've never really put a number to it, but
Mhm.
uh, with the wash and toss, excuse me, it's not like the little small kind of spoon that Calm
Yeah,
has. It's more like think of it like half of
yeah,
a spoon, and it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it was 3 or 4 times a day on top of uh the press tablets, the
yeah,
7 of each. So like maybe one of those a day to now it's like I've cut that at least by 50%, dude, where it's like, okay, I don't have the craving for it as much. But it's like I still feel like I'm chasing that high. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Where it's like
It's
it's I've done it so often, it's a routine to where it's like I feel like it's just my mind telling me, okay, I need half a spoon or whatever.
yeah. The the final hurdle is always difficult when you go from whatever number to zero. It's muscle memory and also Jason,
Yeah.
it's also the withdrawal. Like when I was smoking cigarettes, every time I got in a car, a cigarette, every time after a meal, a cigarette. So when I
Yep.
was quitting, it's like I had like I like my fingers felt weird after a meal because I didn't have a cigarette in it.
Yeah.
So it's literally like you're untraining your muscle memory on top of the physical dependency because
Yep.
when you take a substance that's going to be working on your GABA receptors similar to opioids, it alters your brain, and then that altered state in the brain now becomes your new normal. So when you don't have the altered state, you feel off,
Yeah.
and then you're like your brain wants to get back to normal, but the
Mm-hmm.
only way to get back to normal is to take
Just
that
take.
additional scoop,
Yep.
and then like I think that's how it was for me with benzos. Like my body just could not like for me to just function normally what I needed to have benzos in my system. And then when I took away the benzos, my body was I mean I got seizures, but my body was just constantly
Did you? Oh wow. So you went cold turkey
I
completely
went
from benzos?
cold turkey, yeah. And I
Wow.
wouldn't recommend it. I don't anyone watching I do not recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's and then I would relapse like a week later something and then like but it was yeah it's your body just can't feel calm without it because
Mm-hmm.
it was that became the new normal and then now
Uh-huh.
without it you're just yeah it's just and I feel like yeah that's why withdrawals are just so brutal
Mm-hmm.
it's your body's trying to recalibrate without the substance that you've been giving it every single day for like however many months or years. And that recalibration process is very difficult.
That's
Yeah.
how I know you also were into benzos pretty deep because that's how I was too. With the seizures because yeah man I understand it from a standpoint of like medical professionals not wanting to give it out or
Hmm.
prescribe it to certain patients because of the high possibility for abuse and just the overall addictiveness to it.
Hmm.
Um, that just like with the kratom, it's like, okay, I've got to taper down. Don't get me wrong, I want to go cold turkey, and if I could just toss it away, push it off the side, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But I've got to do it safely. I have to do it the right way to just taper off. And this it really does help me out a ton. Where it's like in the morning, I take my scoop, and it's just like, okay, ready to get the day started. Let's go. Um, where I'm not having to worry about, you know, oh, I see the bag of kratom or whatever,
Yeah.
Um, it 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 really makes me feel normal, you know,
Yeah.
closer to.
That's that's it's that's exactly what we're going for. So like I want to it's like the science behind like the ECS. So like our body has something called endocannabinoids, which is in charge of bringing us back into homeostasis. So
Okay.
when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to sleep, when it comes to stress, you get pissed off at something, pain,
Hmm.
whenever something in if this is life and something pulls you away, your body is always trying to get back into recalibrating back into normal, and this is the job of your ECS. And when we're younger, this is super hyperactive. So like when you injure yourself, you fall down, you get a knee injury. The next morning, you're usually back up and running. Or let's say something stressful happened at school. If your parents give you ice cream for dinner, you're gonna forget it. So your body
Hmm.
gets back to normal quicker when you're younger. And this, as we age, just like everything else, slows down. And
Hmm.
then so like the pain lingers for days and starts lingering for weeks. The anxiety and the stress starts lingering for a lot longer. And it's not just and and the thing is, things like anxiety and stress, and just crap in life happens every day. So before it clears, you got more anxiety and stress kicking in,
Hmm.
and it just gets a lot harder for your body to get back into feeling normal or
Hmm.
homeostasis. And then
Hmm.
one of the cool things about Calm is that it actually targets the ECS and the ECS receptors to help speed up that process of going into homeostasis.
To
So
me,
it's not like you're not going to have any stress in life because like, stress happens
right.
from the outside and crap's going to happen to you. And then like anxieties, the things that make you anxious is going to happen to you, but you
Mhm.
bounce back quicker. And then
Yeah.
a term that one customer told me, I'm like, said this word, and I'm like, that's a really good description of it, is resiliency. You feel more resilient to these, to the lemons that life always throws at you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. What would you if you had to illustrate what how your day to day was from the weeks prior to discovering calm to today when you now have calm in your as one of your tools, what how do they differ? What do those days look like?
Man, dude, I'll be honest with you, I was desperate. I was having two panic attacks a day, man. It was always at noon and then at night. So to just constant worry, paranoia, uh, really bad thoughts. Uh, always, I was always hyper vigilant, man. Like even talking about it gets my mouth kind of dry. But um, like when I'd hear a car drive by, I'd, look, and if my wife came through her door and just I saw it for that split second, I would just jump up and I was like that, just switch never turned off, man. And up until the point I I remember when I first opened the bottle, the Calm bottle, uh, I'd smelled it and it freaked me out because just as a kid, I knew I could never,
Yeah.
because of my anxiety, I could never smoke marijuana. It always gave me
Yeah.
the worst trips unimaginable.
I feel
It's
you.
like if I had a panic attack while smoking marijuana, and
Yeah.
it felt horrible. So
Mm.
smelling that kind of freaked me out a little bit. And I read the ingredients. I'm like, okay, no, it's natural. Let's give it a shot. Um, Up until today, where it's like it completely did a 180 for me, 100%, to where I can function,
Mhm.
be able to provide for my family, and just literally just take a deep breath and just feel normal, not bound to the anxiety, the panic attacks, the not as dependent
Mhm.
on kratom, um, or the craving, because you get that craving for it. I feel like that's slowly like just going down.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, but yeah, 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 man, a huge 180. I know I could word that a lot differently, to just a nicer, more structured way, but uh, just thinking of how I was before to now is just a huge change, man. If you were to see me, you'd before taking Calm,
Mhm.
or just have a conversation with me, you'd be like, dude, this guy is on something. This guy, what is wrong with this guy? Um,
Yeah.
it, but yeah, man, it's just the anxiety and PTSD portion of it. Just it had a huge grasp on my. It was coming back. Before the accident, or excuse me, after the accident, I had managed it, and it went away, and it just slowly came. It picked back up again. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, man, it. That's my next goal is to. Um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna buy one for my buddy to get him off of it slowly.
Well, I'm gonna send you one so you can give it to your buddy.
Oh,
But
dude, that's awesome, bro. Dude.
yeah, well, I'm gonna edit that part out, or maybe not,
Okay.
because people are gonna go like, "I want free sound."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
No.
well, a quick question: Was the kratom mostly for pain, or did you, or was it supposed to also help with the anxiety part? Because I've heard that it helps some people with anxiety. But
Yes.
it kind of works similar to like a Xanax where the
Yes.
high is overwhelms outpowers your anxiety.
Yes.
Or
Exact. So both. So
yeah.
think about it as a really a Xanax. I would say a Xanax for a first time user. I would say it's gonna act like a Xanax.
Hmm.
But it did help with the pain and the anxiety portion of it.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
like so you can feel it immediately.
No. If if there's someone watching this who is has had a traumatic event, or they're still figuring out how to unwind their past trauma.
Hmm.
Cool that
Yeah.
I squeezed in the new name, but
Yeah.
what I know you're still in the midst of your journey. It's not you're not fully at the finish line, but someone, what's an advice you can give to someone watching this that goes like, what should I do? How do I get through this? How can I get better? Um, what's a message you can give him or her?
It's a really good question. That's a really, really good question. I'm trying to think of exactly what I did. Not saying what I had done was right, but
Mm.
I feel like once you break the boundary of just the skepticism part of it and just do a little bit of research on it, it just even going out to just try it is just a start. Um, I before uh, the calm arrived, I had gotten a couple appointments with a therapist, um, just to get on some medication to be just a little bit more grounded. And once I got on the right medication, the calm was another tool that I could use to, what word, what word, I don't know what word to use, but um, fortify, just to fortify the anxiety portion of it. Um, I don't know. I know there's a way better a better way I can word that into better
Mhm.
advice. Just I don't know. Sometimes it just things sound better in my head than they do when they
Yeah,
come out.
I know exactly what
Uh,
you mean.
uh, I don't know.
Hmm.
I know I can. I'm gonna think of that question, and then can I send
Yeah,
you a video later on with that with a better response for
yeah, of
advice? Is that all
course,
right?
of
That'd be
course.
because I know I can knock that question out of the park to be able to help people. Um,
Of
you know,
course, of course. Yeah. It's just yeah, we'll go ahead and stitch it at the end of the video. And it's the message from Officer Edgar on to those who are in the midst of trying to untangle a traumatic event or just any really dark period that you're going through. And then we'll stitch that at the end. I think that would be a pretty cool stitch. I'm down
yeah,
for that.
yeah. I like that.
Well, if you so we just started this new year, and then it seems like we you have all these additional tools to help you through your journey. Is do you have any goals for this year that seem a bit easier to achieve now that you have Calm as one of your tools?
Great question, man. Great question. Um, there's a lot of projects I'm wanting to do for the house, but obviously, like with because they say depression and anxiety go hand in hand, right? Where
Mhm.
it's like it's tough to just go out and do it. But there's a lot of projects I'm wanting to do with it for my house. I've got to build a new deck in the back, and then finish the basement. Our basement's unfinished, and that's a really good question because it's like now those to me seem easy. Like I can just go out and do it. Obviously, the weather is bad right now, but like
Yeah.
during the summertime, once it gets warmer out, I can knock those out of the park.
Yeah.
You know,
Nice. What oh you gotta do the renovations for the second child, right? Or kind of get the room ready or is the room like already ready?
it's already ready.
Yeah,
We're all set and done. Um, it's just like adding the finishing touches to it. You know.
there you go. Cool. Well, I always wrap these podcasts up with three speed round questions just to throw you some curveballs.
Uh huh.
Um, and are you ready for them?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it. First one is what is your most favorite thing to do on your downtime?
I'd say play video games or watch anime. And it's pretty nerdy, man. Um,
Yeah.
when it's just me, I play video games. When I watch anime, it's either with my wife and
Yeah.
or just hang out and chill with my kiddos and my wife
Yeah.
and my
Are
dog.
you, this isn't one of the three questions, but this is just personally curious. Are you watching anything from this season? Like the ones that are coming out weekly right now? Like Jujutsu Kaisen
So
or
my buddy's been trying to get me into that for the longest time ever, man. He's like, dude, I trust me when I tell you. He's like, every episode is a banger. Please watch it. He's like, or even Demon Slayer. He's like, I'll give you my Crunchyroll account so you can start watching it with you, Nikki, and uh. But I know like if I start another one, I'm not gonna finish the one I started. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I don't. So I just like I need to finish. Uh, I've watched Naruto Shippuden with
Yeah.
my wife, and I got her to watch. I convinced her to watch Naruto Shippuden with me, and she loved
Yeah.
it, dude. Like the first season, she was bawling, and she's like, "Why is an anime making me cry?" And we finished it, and we were getting married at that time. Like we were close to getting married, and um, I was telling her, I'm like, "Hey, please, like, let's just finish and ship it in before we get married. Like, that's just one thing I want to do with you." And we finished it. And she's like, "I see why you were wanting to finish it." And
Yeah.
dude, she loves it, man. Like her For You page on TikTok or Instagram is just like Naruto stuff. So it's cool to see her get into it, man.
That's I love it. That was actually the first anime I've ever watched back when uh it's, when it was like it was before 2010. So it
Yeah,
was like
yeah, it was
long
like,
time.
yeah, yeah, dude. I'm pretty sure it came out like in 2000, like seven, I think,
Something like
or
that.
eight,
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere
And
around there.
I there was no place to watch it, so it was like YouTube, and then like back then YouTube videos were super short, so they would split
Yeah,
up a 23-minute episode into six parts, and then like they'll
yeah,
take down part two and five, so you
yeah,
can't watch
yeah.
the full episode. So oh yeah, I remember those days.
Good, good show, dude.
Cool. Secondly, where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
It's a good question, man. Um, Definitely more kiddos, at least one more. Um, and then in a bigger house.
Mhm.
That's one thing I want to do. I want to be able to fix this house, sell it, and then move into a bigger home with a better job that pays a lot more, better benefits, um, bigger family.
Are you going for a detective?
So I actually just applied to a probation and parole position, um, and it's a lot better pay, better benefits, less. There's still that danger aspect, you know, of just the
Mhm.
craziness, but um, it's it's a little bit toned down. I
Mm.
can't be a detective. I every case we would get, I work from start to finish. Um, if it's something really crazy, I hand it off to my detectives. But seeing everything that he would see and go through, yeah, nope, not for me. It's too crazy. It's
Okay.
just mentally too much. So I can't. Yeah, I can't do it. You need a special heart for that.
I can totally see that. Lastly, if you can go back in time, give your younger self one piece of advice. How old is younger Edgar and what are you saying to him?
I'd say younger Edgar would be like in his 20s, and I tell him
Mhm.
just to slow down, dude. Slow down, enjoy life, and keep your circle small. That's what I would say. And marry sooner than than waiting so long. I would have married my wife a lot sooner.
I love it. Well, this conversation was truly a blast. I was so usually like the person I'm interviewing, they never asked me questions, so I was thrown off guard, but I loved it.
Oh,
I
really?
loved the conversation we had. And Edgar, like the stories you shared is truly it's it's truly moving, and it's I feel like you can kind of put it into a movie. One day when you're old enough, you need to find the director to make things into a movie. But I think like someone watching this, like I know that this is gonna give hope to someone to someone out there, and
Yes.
that's one of the main reasons we do this, right? Just to kind of hear where everyone comes from and hear their story so that people can find hope and courage to change
Yep.
by watching other people. So, and I know this one's going to do that.
Yes, I 100% agree. Talking to you, man, like I said, you remind me of my buddy, man, and I miss him so much. It it felt like I was just talking to my buddy, you know, even though we don't know each other on that level. You know, it was really cool and genuine. Your questions and your our conversation seemed genuine, and that was really nice, man. I haven't had that in a while, so I appreciate that, dude.
Thank you. If anyone watching, you guys have a question for Edgar, just leave a comment down below. I'll go and bug him and try to get some
Yeah,
answers for you guys. Once his paternity leave ends, though, I'm sure it'll be a little bit more difficult.
yeah.
But for now, I'll bug him as much as I can. But yeah, that's it. Thank you all for listening. Thank you again, Edgar. I wish everyone a healthy and happy day. Peace.
God bless.